Welcome back, guys, and this time it's a request from the first he lit it on fire, and I have seen this name before. I know I have. I've done a request for you, at least I'm sure of it. So what's going to happen here is he wants two teams to respawn separately of one another, with AI of course, which we've done that before and that's not too hard to do. However, it's not just that. He wants them to have entirely separate following waves behind the two of them that doesn't require one team to finish theirs for this other one to start theirs. And that's not very hard to do. As a matter of fact, one of my older videos did cover this technically, but it is a bit dated and probably a bit hard to follow. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and done a refresher in this video of that video. And if you already know how to set up a firefight and you don't want to see that or need to see it, you can skip to the timestamp in the video where I talk about Team 2 and setting it up. Other than that, that's it. And we can get started on this thing. Let's get going. Map setup is practically nothing. Assuming you already have your map set up for the AI that you want, going with this. You see here that I have a blue and a red little swirly here. This is because this is Team 1 / Firefight 1, and this is Team 2, or the second iteration of the Firefight, that will both be going on simultaneously, yet completely not affect one another at all. So this one will have 4 waves, and it can be completely completed without interfering with this firefight in any form. So to start this off, you're going to grab all the AI related to your first team / firefight and then bring it into the node graph. You don't want to select the other ones unless you have them labeled perfectly, because I generally don't do that. So I'm going to bring them in just as they are related to each other here. So I'll go ahead and open the node graph and bring them on in with Y. Set them down here to get them out of the way, and let's jumpstart this thing. So we're going to go to events, as we always do. I'm going to use on gameplay start because I don't trust on game start. I'm never going to, never going to happen, but you guys might, so if you want to, you can use it. It's fine, it's perfectly fine. So anyway, we have on gameplay start. So now let's go to events custom. Don't be too intimidated here by these custom events, because they're actually super easy and super great. So go ahead and on gameplay start, plug that in to trigger custom event global, because there's a chance that you may have multiple script brains that you want to run this. And if you do, that's why we have this. We're going to name this Firefight Team 1, just like that. Or FF Team 1. We don't have to change anything else. We're done here. There's a reason we're going to use a custom event, by the way, and I'll explain that when we get to it. So the next thing we're going to do is on custom event global. The identifier, as you would imagine, has to match perfectly, caps lock included, of the event that, the trigger that it has, that it matches. So Firefight Team 1. And that's all we have to do there. So let's start this thing up. We need to go to AI Waves category, add wave to wave manager. Plug it in like that. The only thing we need to change here in the node properties is we're going to use user 1. You can use any of these, I'm pretty sure. These might be a little funky because I've never used them, but I'm assuming they just work as a way to let you know what's using what. But we are going to be using user 1 to make this tutorial pretty straightforward. So that's all we need to do with that. Move that a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go back to AI waves. Once again, we're going to go toward the bottom and grab our wave. Grab the wave output of the wave node and plug it into the wave input of the add wave to wave manager node. And then go to the very bottom of the AI waves category and grab wave options. We're going to put this under the event because we don't have to make more copies of this. This serves as the options for all of your waves. So we are perfectly okay with using just one. So we can put it over here away from the rest. So let's go ahead and start setting these up. Let's go to the node options here and go to incoming message. All this means is Jeff Steitzer, is he going to say reinforcements or not, which I'm not going to have that. Outgoing message means once it gets down to about 5 enemies, a little dot will appear over the remaining AI's heads, and and Jeff will be like 5 enemies remaining and stuff like that. And then delay spawn until budget just means it won't spawn the wave until the game is sure that there's enough room in the budget of AI to spawn it. Otherwise, it will try to spawn it and only spawn some if there's not enough room. So that's up to you on that. And then our extermination percentage, I always have it at 100 because then it will only spawn the next wave once you have cleared out all of the AI from the previous one. So you don't run into any straggler issues or anything like that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the variables basic category. And right down here, we're going to grab object list. Put it right above your add wave to wave manager. And don't worry, we're going to set this one up. We're just going to get there in a minute. Object list. Plug the object list into the AI spawner list of the wave node, and you're good. Last but not least, plug in your AI spawners, in my case it's just one, into this list to determine what wave 1 consists of, which for me will only be one grunt. So last but not least for this, let's set up our wave node, which is nothing too difficult. It's just setting this to default because user 1 through 8, yeah, these were all added after I had already kind of gotten out of the scene a little bit, so I don't know what they do, and I've not had any need to use them, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're completely unnecessary, especially for this tutorial. And then duration of seconds, don't worry about it unless it's a bonus round, because if the timer runs out, then it will end the wave before you kill them all. Anyway, that's it. That is all we have to do for that. If you only have one wave, then you're done. And if you don't want them to respawn, then you're definitely done. This is all you have to do. But you don't want that, I'm assuming. So let's go ahead and continue on from here. What we're going to do is duplicate these 3 nodes right here 3 more times because I have 4 waves. So therefore, I need to add 4 waves to the wave manager. So I'll need 4 add wave to wave manager nodes. So now I have 4 of them because I've duplicated all these enough. You'll notice that we didn't have to duplicate the wave options node because there is no need for that. Because we can use the same one universally for all waves included in a wave manager. And then now all you really need to do, other than connecting a couple things up top, is just place the AI that you want in each wave into the respective waves. Okay, and now we need to just connect each add wave to wave manager nodes to each other. So that way they're all connected to the event, and there we go. At the beginning of the game, this will trigger, which triggers this, to add all of these to the queue. And that's all we need to do with that. Now, if you don't want them to respawn, well, congratulations. Once this last AI is killed over here, that's it. They're done. Then you can do whatever you want after that. But if you want them to respawn, which is what most people like in this, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that to make sure this is all covered. We're going to go to Events AI, and we're going to go to On Wave End, put that right here. And of course, make sure user 1 is the wave manager. Definitely want to make sure of that. So what we need to do now is we're basically going to make the game check to see if there's an active wave for this wave manager and if there's any more AI waiting. And to do that, we're going to get wave manager status. That's in the AI waves category. Make sure that's set to the one you want. Matches this right here. User 1, user 1. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go to logic, and we're going to wait for end seconds because it breaks. It breaks if it doesn't have like a second or so to just kind of think. And I don't know why, but it is what it is. But 1 second doesn't hurt anybody. You can have it maybe set to a half a second, but I generally just leave it 1 second and it works just fine. Okay, so move this up here because we're going to need a little room because we're going to use a few nodes for these two. So now that we're in logic, let's go ahead and grab a branch. Put it over here, and yes, you connect the wait for end seconds to this branch, just like that. And then now we're going to fill this little gap in right here with a couple of these. Let's see, we're going to need a Boolean logic. It's going to be what we connect to our branch directly, and then we're going to need, let's go ahead and move this here because we do have a couple of nodes. We're going to need a compare node from the logic compare. Put that under right here under your Get Wave Manager status. And let's go ahead and start working from here. We'll put the last node out when we need it. Queue size. Plug that into operand A because what we're going to do is compare how many AI are left waiting to spawn. If all of these are dead and there are no more AI to be spawned after this wave, then it will equal 0, and that's what we want. So does it equal 0? That's what we're going to plug in. A equals B. However many AI are left to spawn, is it 0? Yes, that's what we want. There we go. So let's go ahead and grab the last node here called a Boolean not, which a lot of people don't really use this often, and I understand because there's other ways of doing things, I guess, and I just haven't really found the need to use it, although I'm sure there's plenty of. I'm just, I guess, simple about it. Okay, so what this does is it says, does it have an active wave? If it does not have an active wave, then that's what we want. That's what that's there for. So lastly, we've got this here, we got this here, and we want to make sure both of these are true, which is why we're going to use the AND. Plug that into the condition here. Okay. So what this is going to do, from start to finish, as soon as the last wave ends for user 1, which is these guys up here, it's going to wait for a second. It's going to check, is there an active wave? No, there will not be an active wave. It's going to check to see if there's any AI left to spawn in these waves, and no, there won't be. So this will equal 0, and this will mean there's not an active wave. And both of these will be true, and if true, all we need to do is copy this and paste it here. And that is why we have the custom event. Copy that trigger custom event global for FFTeam1 and plug it into the true from the branch on this last bit. And now all of your AI will spawn from your last wave, starting them all over again, so you have an endless cycle, no problem. Okay, well, that was just generally showing you how to set up a firefight. I understand that, and I did cover that in the intro. That's why I have timestamps. I did want to include it to make sure this was the all-inclusive, definitive edition of setting up a firefight, plus, the multiple firefights at the same time. So now we're going to get right into what you're wanting to know. So now we can go ahead and grab these because the second half is actually going to be so easy to do. So go ahead and grab all those that are related to your second firefight iteration, or team 2, and place them somewhere. Okay, I'm not going to put them here because I'm going to need that area. I'm going to put it up here out of the way. So now we're going to make another one of these, and we're going to be repeating the process, but in an easier way. Go ahead and name this one number 2, FF Team 2. That's what this event is going to be, FF Team 2 instead of Team 1. And as such, everything related to this will be user 2. And of course, FF Team 2. So all we need to do is just copy this script right here. Don't duplicate anymore because it turns into spaghetti really bad. I don't like it. So if we do this, it retains its shape and the order we have the nodes in. So I can place them right here, and it's perfectly okay. So now the only thing we really need to do is change this, which is the identifier, to FF Team 2, and then set the wave manager of all of these to user 2. Make sure they're all user 2. Okay, they're all user 2 now. Everything is good over here. All we need to do is, just like earlier, plug in the AI. That's one of the things you can't really duplicate unless, like I said, you have it set up a certain way, then that's 100% all you. That's perfectly okay. Okay, well, now we have this done. The only thing left to do is to copy that last script right here. Alright, we got it selected. Go ahead and copy. And we're going to paste that over here out of the way so it doesn't get spaghettified. And then we're going to change it the exact same way we did with this. We're going to change the wave manager to user 2 for both of these. And then lastly, all we need to do is change that identifier right there. So that's it. And of course, yes, this will definitely work if you were to copy and paste it for a third team. Let's say you have a third team. Oh, there's some spaghettification, but it doesn't matter. We're going to delete it. So if you had a third team, you could copy that, then copy this, and change it to user 3, and you would have the exact same result. You would have 3 entirely separate firefight/teams going, completely unaffected of each other in their progression. Okay, so we're going to test this out. Just to give you a heads up, I've got an elite here, I've got a grunt here, a skimmer, and a jackal. This is a regular elite, while there's elite general over here, a marine, skirmisher, and a brute. So let's go ahead and start this. Everything worked. The script built successfully. There's a skirmisher there. Oh, that's a brute. Okay. You see nothing spawning over there. Do this a couple of times. And see, it starts over once again. And it starts over again. This guy over here, he's completely unaffected. And you can see that these guys over here are unaffected. I'm just going to pop that. And see the next level will, or the next wave will spawn completely unaffected of these guys over here. So there you go. That is how you have 2 separate firefight/AI teams going simultaneously, completely unaffected of each other's progression. And that's it. So a little bit more about what I was talking about in the intro, these refreshers. I'm going over a few of my older videos and getting some feedback, and I realized that a lot of them might have been hard to follow, especially earlier on. And so there might be a few refreshers here and there. What I'm going to do is cover them in a much more straightforward, to-the-point basis, and I'm going to just label them as definitive tutorials. That way, everything that you need to know is covered in it to a basic degree that can then be applied to specifics later on, because that was a big problem. I always added specific stuff that wasn't necessary to the tutorial. So what I'm going to do is a lot of them, especially the one where the AI followed the player, I'm going to refresh those and create definitive tutorials to kind of update them and make them much easier to follow. But with that, another one's down, and I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to see you guys on the next one. I'm out of here.